Ooh, just started? Yes, we've started. Okay. When the world resists, you persist. Again, when the world resists, you persist. One last time. When the world resists, you persist. And what I mean by that is, in just based on like the previous episode that I recorded, and I was just sharing about how you will experience internal resistance. You will experience internal resistance when you're trying to change and transform and become something and walk into something different, lean into something different, have certain experiences that maybe in the beginning you didn't truly believe that you deserved. And there's a certain level of worthiness that maybe was challenging, and a certain level of insecurity about like whether you're deserving of certain things. When you begin to change rather and transform your life, you will be met with resistance, both internally and externally, because there's a certain level of there's a certain level of testing that needs to happen to see that if you will actually truly stick to what it is that you're affirming within yourself. So, song recommendation for the day, Stay by Navy. So when the world resists, you persist. You persist in your end goal. You persist in your dream. You persist in all the things that you want to possess on a physical level. And just as a sidebar, just keep quiet about the dreams that you have. You don't have to share with everyone, and you don't have to let everyone know what it is that you're working on. Just about it. Because what ends up happening sometimes when people, like I mentioned, that people know a certain version of you, and once you want to take on something different, you will be met with resistance, because they know maybe you haven't always been the most hardworking. And now suddenly you recognize that this is something that you're passionate about. This is something that you're willing to put your mind, body, and soul into, and you're willing to put the work in. But because they know you as the certain person, and you share that dream with them, sometimes they'll come in, and not to say that they're trying to bring you down or anything, but because they already have had experience with you as this certain someone else, they might say things that will almost discourage this work that you're trying to put in, discourage this dream that you have for yourself, and it starts to play in your mind if whether or not you're even capable, because now they already know who you were, but they're not necessarily privy, or they haven't necessarily experienced this new hard-working person, this person that is so passionate about this thing that they're willing to put everything and pour their all into it, and they might say something that will throw you off. So just as a sidebar, limit the dream sharing until you actually start the execution, because once you start executing, then people can see that, oh wow, this person has changed. And so, okay, that's just a sidebar. Apart from that, the world, once you start taking on or embodying something different, or you are leaning into new experiences, when you are in the process of it, the world will resist that version of you. It will. It just will. Before I got to where I am, before I learn the things that I know today, in terms of just going internally and doing the internal work, I was quite resistant to it, because I had no reason to be doing any internal work. There was just no purpose for me to be doing internal work. And I mean, on like a meeting the darkest parts of myself, meeting those parts of myself. I've always been aware of things and just, had a deep understanding of nature versus nurture, and I could speak about it. And people have always said, oh, like, that's a like awesome perspective. And it's something that I've had intuitively, but until I actually started taking a deeper dive, so much so that my body began to recognize those things that I needed to internally heal, or maybe internally change, or the evolution of me, the person that I am embodying, the version of me that I'm trying to become. Before I fully grasp that internally in my body, because as just another sidebar, you have this brain and you also have this brain, your gut brain. Your gut brain recognizes things as your gut brain recognizes the feelings, and it's the intuitive side of things that you don't necessarily perceive with your mind, but you can feel inside of your body. So once the body starts to take on these feelings, this new way of being, and the body understands what it is that you have always known in your mind, once there's this connection that happens, then like it's easier for you to lean into recognize those things when they happen. But before these transformations happen, the world will resist you. So you have to persist. When the world resists, you persist. You persist in that dream. You persist in the end goal. Don't worry about how it's going to show up, and when you're going to start to see the fact that you've changed in your life. Don't worry about the coming and how it's going to come. Concern yourself and focus your energy in persisting in the fact that it's already done for you. All that you need to focus your energy and attention on is the fact that goal, that dream, that becoming of who I feel will resonate and align with me, that version, it's already done. And you only have to focus your energy on that. Not how it's going to come in, not the things that will propel you in the right direction. That's out of your control, because we are given circumstances and situations that will sort of, it almost feels like a domino effect, where it will start off small and suddenly it's like, oh, not domino effect, snowball effect. So it will start off as like a small snowball, right? And then as it develops this momentum, and then it starts to take on more ice, and it's just like almost like boom, 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 boom. Once you've leaned in so much, it's like avalanche. And that's because now the world is starting to recognize this newness, and it's attracting more of the right things that create the bigger escalated snowball. So when you have dreams, when you have visions, when you have things about you that you want to change, don't speak about them as the caveat. Don't speak about them, do them. Because once you do, and you yourself are working on focusing on the end, by focusing on the end, things will come in that will allow you to have that snowball effect. The options will show up that create the space and the growth and the expansion that get you to the end goal. So don't focus about how all of these things are going to come in. Focus and persist in what is at the end. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. My name is Oba Gang, and I'm your accidental therapist.